In the world of video games, game developers are given the task to make a fun experience for players to remember. Game developers have only two goals in mind: A, to make money, and B, to create games that an average consumer or fans can enjoy. This dates back all the way to the Atari era when many games were just mediocre at best, until some games released were more popular than the rest, creating a new term: a good game. Ever since then, good games have spanned generations and created timeless classics we all know and love, and it's all from the hard work, creativity, and passion these developers have shown to make these projects. Now, when this criteria isn't met, instead of a good game, or even a mid-game, you'll have a bad video game. Stupid intro aside, we're going to be talking about bad video games today. Now, a thing to take note of is obviously not all games are going to be considered bad. It's a subjective opinion after all, but I believe video games can be bad, like really bad in some cases, but I have a few reasons why I think video games can be considered bad to some people, which I'm going to go over in this video. So there's no better reason to start off with than... What you about to do? Please? Not me, nigga! Now, when I think about a good game, I usually think of its quality, overall engaging gameplay, and how enjoyable the game actually is. And there's a game out there that have none of these qualities. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the displeasure of introducing...
I know that ain't who I think it is.
For context, in the 1980s, the gaming industry was struggling pretty hard. Game quality was very inconsistent, and there were still good games in that time period, but they were pretty few and far between. E.T. was supposed to save gaming and be the blockbuster holiday release, which it did neither, and is considered one of the worst games of all time. How could a game be this bad? This looked bad for Atari standards. First thing to point out, E.T. looks omega chopped. And I know he looks chopped in the movie too, but there is no way a pixel should be having a posture this insane. The game is also very confusing. I guess you're collecting phone pieces and avoiding scientists, and it's also very frustrating because it's very easy to fall into pits. Yo, who made this who made this burger?
Who made this burger, man? I know y'all hear me.
Now, with my extensive research, aka a Google search because I'm lazy, this guy was behind this atrocity of a game, and his track record is actually pretty good. So what went wrong? So what happened was Atari wanted him to make an adaptation of the movie E.T., but they only gave him 5 weeks to create it before the holiday season. A crazy thing to think about is this game almost single-handedly killed gaming because it was a major factor in the video game crash of 1983. I'm not gonna bash on the designer because he didn't have a lot of time to cook, but I'd rather watch paint dry the movie than play this again. By the way, that's a real movie. I'm not making this up. Another game that kind of suffered the same fate was Sonic 06. Now, this game had so much potential. It was intended to be the reboot of the franchise, and it was pretty cool. The story was entertaining, they introduced Silver, and they had lots of nice set pieces and all. Just for it to be a horrible game. The game had lots of problems. The camera was constantly fighting you back. The controls were very loose and stiff. The glitches. The cutscenes and character models just looked so odd sometimes, and don't even get me started on the load times. Still going. The game was so rushed for the holiday season and for the franchise's 15th anniversary.
Incredible.
Not to mention, they split the development team to work on Sonic and the Secret Rage, which was trash too. I feel like if Sega had delayed the game, we would have gotten a better, more fleshed out game instead of this. We got games like Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man, Street Fighter, mobile games, and Tetris, all popular games. And while some games try to stay innovative and fresh, some just recycle the same game over and over again. Dude, there are like over 200 different Tetris games. Why? I guess Tetris does this to stay relevant in the gaming space, so I guess I'll let it slide. Now what I won't let slide is that new Star Fox game. As much as I'd love a new Star Fox game, turns out it's not even a new game. It's another remake of Star Fox 64. This is the 4th time they remade this game, and we get it. Star Fox 64 was a good game, but we're overdue for a new one. And don't even get me started on these redesigns. Well, like, what were they thinking? They massacred my boys. I will say the game looks absolutely amazing, and at least they're adding new content, which is always cool. New content is always better than no. Now, before I talk about this section, let me put you through an analogy real quick. Say you're going to a restaurant. You sit down, you look at the menu, and you see this juicy tender, voluptuous burger and you just want to order it because, it
Brother's
so
starving.
good. It comes out and the bite is pure bliss. Then you eat the rest of it and now it tastes like sand. Congratulations, you spent $60 on a glorified tape demo. No refunds. Gaming has become more expensive over the years. A little too expensive sometimes. Nobody wants to buy a burger and get served straight buns, which Nintendo's been doing for every sports game during the Switch 1. I don't know why Nintendo thought it'd be a good idea to sell a half-baked game and add free DLC updates, which is them fixing the game and charging full price for it. For this section, I'll be talking about the Mario Sports game and Nintendo Switch Sports, starting with Mario Tennis Aces. And not gonna lie, I love this game, only because I got it when everything was added. So when I bought the game, it felt finished, because it was finished at the time. But hearing about how it was during launch, they didn't even have an opening. Dog, an opening? They barely had any modes, the roster was lacking, and they didn't even have normal match lengths. I used to think that the game was complete from the start, and I was thinking that things were sweet, expecting the same from Mario Golf. It wasn't sweet. Mario Golf Super Rush's launch was so lackluster. I mean, the modes were pretty fun, but there was not enough. The story was boring, I didn't even get past the second mission. And the game kinda lost its charm too. Instead of having cool holes and cool locations like the previous titles, it's just golf with Mario characters in it. Looking back, I really regret buying this game on launch. I played the game for like an hour and I was thinking, dang, I just wasted the last bit of my money. I'm broke. Even when they added more content down the line, which was pretty cool, but honestly, I just didn't care anymore. Now, a game series I used to love back in the day when I had a Wii was Wii Sports. Just for them to turn it into whatever this is. And granted, I don't hate the design. I honestly think they're fine. But what's not fine is only having 6 sports on launch date. Not only did they get rid of the best sports like baseball, boxing, basketball, and golf, and while golf and basketball were added, it took them 2 years to do this. What were y'all doing for 2 years? But the worst sports game of all is easily Mario Strikers Battle League. This game at launch was the most contentless game I have ever seen. The roster was only 10 characters and matches were 4v4, so in one match you pretty much seen all the characters. There's no modes, absolutely none. All these are just fancy ways of saying quick match. The items are pathetic. There are only 6 of them in the entire game. The game also lost its toughness, the thing that Mario Strikers is the most famous for. The gear system does nothing and the stages aren't even stages. They're literally just picking your shade of grass. And there's only 5 choices anyway! Even when new characters were added, they didn't add anything. They all played the same. And they didn't even have Daisy at launch. Now I will say, the animation is pretty good. DK was low-key hitting that. And the game is fun too. For like 20 minutes. Man, I still can't believe this game was full price. And speaking of prices, selling products at an affordable price can really make or break a product's success. If a product isn't worth the price, consumers won't buy it. But in the gaming industry, it doesn't matter. They do whatever they want. Prices in gaming are significantly high, and companies are getting way too comfortable charging full price for a game that's definitely not even worth it. The Switch 2 Direct comes to mind because everyone was so hyped about it, me included, just to be jump scared by that outrageous price tag. As much as I love Nintendo games, I hate the decisions the company makes. Obviously, Nintendo's not the only one overpricing things, but they're definitely the first that comes to mind. They had the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour for $10. This game should have been included with the console. Nintendo has always been stingy with their prices as well, which is not really something new, but for the longest time, most games were priced at $60, and they never changed the price no matter how old the games actually are. And games don't even go on sale like that. During holidays like Black Friday, some games are 33% off. How generous. I love Nintendo and all, but it gets to a point. They constantly release remasters of old games for full price too, like Skyward Sword and Donkey Kong Country Returns, but the worst is the Mario Galaxy bundle. I want you to guess how much Nintendo's charged for this game. $30? Nah. $50? Nah, that's too low. They charge $70. $70? Mind you, these games are as old as me. I'm 19. They didn't even add anything. All they did is upscale the Nintendo.
Who made this burger, man? I know y'all hear me.
that's gonna do it for today's video. I know I haven't made a video in such a long time, and I'm so sorry to keep y'all waiting. My fault, OGs. But what do you guys think? Do you think there's such thing as bad video games, or you think it's all up to preference and opinions? So to wrap this video up, yo, that posture is still insane.